How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Registrar Boys. Just so that we get it out of the way first, this is a sty. I was not punched in the face. Just keep that in mind. If this is the first time you're watching, hi, it's nice to meet you. If this is not the first time you're watching, it's nice to see you guys again. How's y'all's week been? Everything been good? Leave a comment down below. Today, we got something very special planned for you guys, and it is, drumroll, a tier list of hunting bullets. Okay, so some of the ammunition brands that I have are gonna be all of the big ones. I've got Remington, that's got a couple. I've got Winchester, I've got Federal Premium, I've got Barnes, I've got Hornady. Everything here is gonna be done in order of pricing. I want you guys to know that I've got the budget option of each of the brands, minus the Barnes, but I've got the budget option starting at the bottom and working my way up. So I've got some budget options and I've got some top tier options. It's gonna be my job today to go through the ammunition and be able to say whether this ammunition is S tier or whether this ammunition is not. All right, so up first, let's just make this video straight to the point, boys. Y'all clicked on the video to do a tier list, so let's get to tier listing. Okay, the first one that we're gonna do, let's talk about some Remington real quick. We got Remington Core-Lokt tip. All right, on the Remington Core-Lokt tip, this particular round that I've got in my hand is 165 grain 30-06. Velocity-wise, they've got it advertised as 2,800 feet per second. Droppage, it drops. If you zero it for 200 yards, it's gonna drop at 8.7 inches at 300 yards. Okay, so this bullet is a very, very utilitarian bullet, especially for rifles. All the bullets that I'm testing today are all for rifles, but let's talk about this one. Remington has got it made when it comes to saying that they are the deadliest mushroom in the woods. They ain't nobody gonna argue that, and ain't nobody gonna try to dethrone Remington for that reason. However, there's a couple things about Remington that could detract from it, so I'm having to think here. The big one is low BC on their budget line. This is their Core-Lokt. So with their BC, I don't even know if they advertise it on the box, to be honest with you. I'll look, hang on. Nope, there's no BC on this box, so it's gonna not do very well in the wind. We know it's not gonna do very well in the wind. It's gonna drop a lot because it's 165 grains. For a 30-06, the flattest shooting round out of a 30-06, or flattest shooting hunting round that most people will use, is going to be the 150 grain. But 165 is not heavy, it's just not as flat shooting as the 150. So if I was to rate Remington Core-Lokt, just the 165, okay, if I was to rate Remington Core-Lokt, I would put it at, ease of use in the field too, though, guys. I'm having to think this is going to be tough for me. I feel like for this, it could be a good B tier. I would like to go back and revisit this some point in the future, but I'm feeling B tier. So let's do B tier. Okay, let's do the pricey option for Remington Core-Lokt. I'm excited about this one. This is Remington Core-Lokt tip. This is the newer offering from Remington. So it comes, this box is the 150 grain in Remington Core-Lokt tip, and I actually remember the velocity off the top of my head of this one because I've used it all hunting season. At muzzle velocity, it is advertised at 2910. Let me double check my math. Excuse me, 2930. Ooh, I was 20 feet per second slow. 2930, which means that bullet's gonna drop, with a 200 yard zero, it's gonna drop 7.2 at 300 yards. This is a very accurate round out of my rifle, so it's gonna have a little partiality to me. However, the one thing I don't like about the Remington Core-Lokt tip is the fact that they cost so freaking much. Remington Core-Lokt tip right here, this box costs probably $29, to where this box, if you buy them at the same place, this box is going to cost you somewhere in the ballpark of $49. It's a really good performing bullet, don't get me wrong. I'm going to have to take off some points for the price. Now, does it perform well for its price range? Yes. Does it perform fantastically for its price range? Yes. Do I like spending $40 plus every time I buy 20 rounds of Core-Lokt tip? No. For that, I'm gonna have to put it in A tier. Come after me in the comments if you want. It's not an S tier bullet. It's just not performing well enough for me in the field to be like, this is it. This is my choice for what I think the best absolute bullet is gonna be out of this whole lineup that I've got for us. Let's talk about Federal Premium. All right, starting with their budget option, I've got their 150 grain Power-Shok. I believe this one is $29.10. Let me double check. Yeah, okay, my bad. This one is 2910. This one is a very flat shooting round. It's 150 grains, and for the same thing, 0 at 200, you got an 8.2 inch drop at 100 yards, okay? It's not a very hot load, but I tell you what, this thing is performing. And the thing that I really, really, really love about Federal Power-Shok, minus the other brands or the other lines of this brand that we're going to be talking about in this video, is that this box, this very box that we're talking about right here, costs $26. $26, and I got some fantastic accuracy out of my rifle. It was a consistent round. People have hunted with this round for years. I mean, when it comes to deer hunting, Federal Power-Shok is gonna do the job. When it comes to functionality in the field, when it comes to overall performance, overall budget price, this right here is a high contender. I have no problem, and leave a comment down below if you agree, no problem whatsoever putting this one, Federal Power-Shok, in S tier. Working my way down the Federal Premium budget line, we've got the medium offer. We have got the Federal Fusion this time. I believe this one is, this one is the 165 grains. I had some decent success with this particular round in the field earlier this year, or earlier last year, whenever it was. I think it was last year. And overall, this was a okay bullet. It is a bonded bullet. I don't remember the numbers on this at all. I'm not going to pretend because it's been a hot minute since I've looked at this box. Muzzle velocity, 2790. So far out of the 4 that we've done so far, this is the slowest moving. Looking at the same drop as the rest of them, if you're zeroed at 200, at 7.9, at 300, it's 7.9 inches of drop. This is a bonded bullet, but they expand like crazy. So if they expand like crazy, they're a nice kind of mid-range option for Federal. This one's going to be tough because I can justify an S tier for that. I'm not going to, though, because the reason why is because when I paid for those bullets, they were somewhere in the ballpark of $37. And that was $37 as of September of last year, I believe. Did I get the performance, the same kind of S tier performance out of the 165 grain bonded as I did the 150? No. I'm saying Federal Fusion is an awesome bullet, but for that, I can't give it an S tier, guys. I'm going to give it an A tier. If I could do an A+, it'd be great, but I'm going to do an A tier for it, okay? And that just opens up a little bit of discussion for the next bullet because I have some mixed opinions about the one I'm about to pick up. Federal Fusion tipped. This one I had high hopes for. As of so far in this tier list, this is the 180 grain, so this is the heaviest bullet that we've looked at so far today. I had to buy these online. And when I bought them online, I bought them from Midway, I believe. These things were very, very high priced. I was expecting great things for a high price. $27.25 out of the muzzle, so it's not going slow, but it's not a flat shooting round. Same thing as I've been saying with everything else with a 200-yard zero. At 300 yards, it's 8.2. Now, there's something that you guys need to notice. Going back on Federal Power-Shok, you'll notice that at 300 yards, these drop 8.2 inches, just like these 180 grains, which means there's a difference in powder charge in each cartridge. I want you guys to be aware of what I'm saying. These guys are loading it with a high BC or a higher BC bullet. If you've never seen a Fusion tipped, I will show you what they look like because I still have some left over. You could see it's literally a Fusion bullet with just a polymer tip. Like if you could see the tip of that bullet, you can see where those Fusion grooves are. You can see that it is a bonded bullet and they put a polymer tip on the end of it. That's literally the only difference between this and the other one. The problem is that affected accuracy in my rifle. The accuracy overall out of this box was not fantastic at all. This is going to have to be my first C tier. I was not satisfied out of the performance with that. And for the price, I mean, they cost more than Remington Core-Lokt tip, or at least where I bought them, they cost more than a Remington Core-Lokt tip. It does not perform for the price. And I think that's why nobody carries it around here, because people kind of noticed that it is a sub-tier bullet, okay? There's just no nice way to put it. Anyway, let's keep going up in the price range. The next offering absolutely terrifies me. This one is 30-06, 180 grain Berger Hybrid Hunter. I did a review on this couple of months, I don't know, about a month ago, month and a half ago. And I was decently excited about this, but I've done some further research and I have noticed that their bullet design, it is a cup and core bullet, but the problem is it has a thin copper jacket, which means if this does impact, which for most circumstances you really do want this to impact, but if it does impact an animal, it's going to basically explode inside the animal. So let's talk about some of the numbers on it, and then I'll give you my actual opinion, even though you can already tell what it is before I even get going. 2,800 muzzle velocity, which is not bad for 180 grain. This is another 180 grain offering. At 200 yards, if it's zeroed at 200 yards, this thing's dropping 7.7 inches. Like when it comes to BC, these things are probably the highest BC bullets that's in this list today. The problem is the terminal performance that I've heard. I have not used these on an animal, nor do I think I want to, because the bullets results kind of vary between animal to animal, and I can't have that in the woods. And I didn't get great accuracy out of this either. So, sorry, these guys are going in the C tier. I think we need to do the Barnes single real quick. I have mixed feelings about Barnes Harvest. The Sierra Tipped Game King, if you were to say. These are the 180 grains, just like the last three that we've done. So I'm kind of operating in a heavier or a heavier weight category for this right now. Let's just go through the numbers, and then I want to talk about this bullet and why I have mixed feelings about it. Okay, well, here we go. 2760 at the muzzle, which is right in the ballpark of everything else that's 180 grains. It's within tens of 20s of numbers between each of the bullets. This one actually has an advertised G1BC, and I will tell you what it is. It is 0.545, which means it's going to do very well in the wind, especially for a 30 caliber bullet. If you were to zero this at 200 yards, you're going to have a 7.7 inch drop as well at 300. Here's why I have mixed reviews about this. Remington Core-Lokt and Barnes Harvest Collection. See if you can tell the difference. Yeah, I didn't think so. There's some very, very minor differences all the way down to the polymer tip. They're almost identical. Literally almost identical. Matter of fact, I got to look and see which one I've got to put back up into what. This is the Barnes. This one is the Remington Core-Lokt. Like, the only difference is you can see that the ogive is just slightly longer, and this is a 180 grain bullet, and this is a 150. Comparing wise, they're very, very close. All right, hang on. I'm going to put them up real quick. Barnes. So, Remington Core-Lokt tip tray right here. And Barnes. What y'all watching me for? I guess because I'm doing a YouTube video. I've been wanting to do this video, by the way, guys, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm just going to take a camera with me and just talk and just have a good time and do a tier list. I've never done it before, and I just want to try it. I want to have a good time with this and tell you about my experiences with each bullet because I'm a nerd. Barnes Harvest season, I give it a B tier. Right now, nothing really absolutely astounds me about it, and I have further research to do. I haven't made up my mind fully about this yet. Keep your eye on this. Let's talk about a Winchester. All right, let's start with the expensive ones real quick. Now, I'm changing calibers. I'm going to .264 caliber. 6.5 Creedmoor. My 6.5 Creedmoor loves these bullets, okay? Absolutely adores them. The only thing that I don't like about this bullet is it is 125 grains. For a 6.5 Creedmoor, the traditional grainage is like 129, 140. This is really, really light, which means these bullets are going really, really fast. Out of the muzzle, for a 6.5 Creedmoor, it's saying that it has got 2850 feet per second, which I know, ooh, astounding. No, it's really not astounding compared to all the other bullets, all the other rifles that you could shoot. But for a 6.5 Creedmoor, that's not slow. All right, if you were to zero this at 200 yards, you're about to figure out why a 6.5 Creedmoor shoots flatter. At 300 yards, this drops 7.1 inches, so it has less drop than all of my 30-06 that I've gone through so far. So when it comes to drop, and definitely fighting the wind, this bullet has an edge over the 30-06, but does it have an edge in up-close power? No. It has less foot-pounds of energy within 300 yards by a drastic margin compared to the 30-06. But if we were to look at the bullet itself, by itself, the only saving grace about this is that this is their mid-tier option. But their mid-tier option only costs like 38 bucks. 38 bucks for sub-MOA groups. Y'all, A tier all day, every day. I like this bullet. On the other hand, their budget offering that they have, I've got the 140 grain 6.5 Creedmoor Power Point, which is their cup and core bullet. 2730 is their muzzle velocity. If you were to zero it at 200 yards like the rest of them, I'm going to keep it the same for consistency's sake. This one is going to drop 8.6 inches. The only thing about this is the inconsistency of each bullet tip. I'll show you. It's got dingy brass on it, but it's the lead tip. Look at the differences. Can y'all see that? This one's even curving off this direction. It's not a quality made product, but I will also admit that I bought this for 23 bucks. But the Federal Power-Shok I also bought for 23 bucks, and I got sub-MOA accuracy plus the actual reputation of those bullets performing well across the board. However, when it comes to PowerPoint, this is my first F tier. If you can't even make the tips of your lead tip bullets consistent enough to fire out of a rifle, you don't need to be using these, period. These are my first F tier. I could justify D tier because it was, 20 something dollars, but overall, these Winchester are a fail. Oh, the problem child of the rifle world and ammunition. Hornady, the most divisive of all the brands. So let's get down to brass tacks. This one is for a 7mm 08, so it's a little different, but just hold on to me because the result is going to be very similar. This one is 139 grain Hornady American Whitetail, and it is in their interlock bullet, so this is their budget line, even though this is a beautiful box, okay? But this is their budget line. At the muzzle, it's coming out of the 7mm 08 at 2840 feet per second. If you were to zero it, like the rest of the rifles at 200 yards, your drop at 300 is going to be 7.9. Overall, this is a very good performing bullet. This is the bullet that Justin likes to use to hunt his deer with because, matter of fact, his rifle's still over the top of my head. I've still got to clean it, by the way. I'll get it done soon, Justin. His bullets are very, very good. They cost $28 and some change, I believe. And overall, they perform very, very well. The only problem that I've got with the American Whitetail line is the fact that the cup and core bullets that they have an inconsistent result, especially when it comes to terminal performance. Some bullets hold together, some bullets don't. The interlock ring keeps the core and jacket together. I've had core and jacket separation out of these bullets. Now, I understand it's impossible to go through each and every bullet and like, this is going to work, this is going to work, this is going to work. You're not going to work, you're not going in that box. I understand that, but I'm just telling you, there's a little bit of inconsistency in bullet design. So for that, a budget offering, decent accuracy, his rifle gets about 1 inch and some change groups out of it. So, I mean, it's decent accuracy. So overall, the Winchester PowerPoint, overall, the Hornady American Whitetail is going to get a... This would be a B tier for me, okay? B tier. B tier. B tier. All right, moving up in performance, let's talk about Superformance. Hornady Superformance. I believe this is in 6.5 Creedmoor. Hold on. Yep, 129 grain SST, which stands for Super Sticky Traction. Y'all leave a comment down below. I can't remember what that ST stood for, nor does it matter because I'm going to talk about how this bullet performs and nothing else, okay? Let's talk about the math on it. Coming out of the muzzle, out of a 129 grain 6.5 Creedmoor, these things are booking it. It is 2950 feet per second. Zeroed at 200 yards to drop at 300 yards is going to be 6.8 inches. By far the flattest shooting out of all of the bullets that I've reviewed so far today. I mean, 6.5 Creedmoor, I know, no surprise, right? The only thing that I have to complain about this is if your rifle don't like them, they're really not going to like them. My 6.5 Creedmoor really does not like these. But the other complaint that I have about these SSTs, they are meant to expand drastically upon impact. Okay, and what that means is if the game animal, whatever you're chasing, is too close to you, like within 50 yards, if you fire this round at them, this round could overexpand and explode inside the animal. Thus, you won't possibly, if you don't hit the animal right, find them. That's a risk that you're absolutely going to have to take with these. These are designed for long range, okay? I want you to know that. These cost, I've still got the price tag on them, $41.99. Are these worth $41.99? Yeah, if you're hunting past 400 yards. But for these southern folk out here in Mississippi just trying to do the best we can, we're not going to pay that much for something like this unless you just really, really like SSTs. And if that's the case, you do you, because I'm not going to tell you what to buy and what not to buy. This is just my opinion, but overall, I'm going to give this probably a C tier. And finally, the problem child out of the whole pile, Hornady Precision Hunter. I just heard everybody behind that camera sit there and go, oh, the box is here. Yeah, the box is here. In 30-06, no less. And the weird grain that they put in the ELDX bullets. The 178 grain? What? Why can't you just do 180 grains like the rest of the world? Or 165 or 150? What are you doing with your life, Hornady? Let's talk about the math. The math out of the muzzle velocity, it's going to be 2750, which is the exact same performance as, like, for example, 180 grain. I mean, just add 2 grains to it, guys. Come on, what are we doing? Zeroed at 200 yards, at 300 yards, you're going to have a 7.7 inch drop, which is a decent performance. I'm just going to go ahead and say this about the Precision Hunter, though. Precision Hunter is a long-range shot. These bullets are designed for long range. For those who don't understand what that means, let me explain. The bullet performance is all about expansion, okay? And if that bullet's going too fast, it's going to overexpand on impact. And yes, I'm using my hand as kind of the illustration. Let's just say it overexpands, and this is the bottom of the bullet, okay? If you're within 100 yards, you're gonna have a pancaking bullet that's probably going to explode inside the animal, which a lot of people complain about not having. They complain about having animals that they have lost and were not able to harvest. That's why. It's because this bullet was designed for longer ranges. Now, past 400 yards, this bullet is designed to gradually expand and have a deeper wound channel. So if you're hunting out west, absolutely, this is the bullet to use, 100%. If you're hunting down here in the south or out in the east where you don't have as long of a shot, these are risky because these are going to overexpand inside the animal, therefore not have an opening wound track on, or an opening wound on the other side, and you're not going to be able to, or possibly not going to be able to find it. And this has happened with me in my own personal experiences, so beware of that. Overall, though, this is probably one of the most expensive offerings that Hornady offers. They're not going to do what their muzzle velocities say on their box. I just want you to be aware of that. I know that about Hornady going into this. If they're saying 2750 on the box, you can bet that it's probably going to be closer to 2600. Out of my experience, this one right here takes the D tier cake. I would not use them in Mississippi. I might use them in Montana, but I'd have to get a different rifle because my rifle doesn't like those. So, guys, what is y'all's opinion about the tier list that I put together for you guys today? Leave a comment down below about what you would rate these as. Just keep in mind, guys, this is what I've rated them out of my experience, what I know about these bullets, how I've shot them, how my rifle has responded to them, and I know that your experience is going to be different than mine. We have a lot of cool stuff coming down the line, so guys, I want you to stay tuned for that. And if you have watched to this point in the video, consider leaving a like and subscribe, because guess what? If you've made it to this point in the video, you've enjoyed it. So stick around for more. All right? Well, hope you guys have a fantastic week. And just like I said at the beginning of the week, hi, it's nice to meet you. If you've been watching this for the first time, if this is not your first time watching, it's nice to see y'all again. And until the next episode of the Rextraw Boys, I reckon we gone.